Mail merge and other tasks. Mail merge is the ability to create a mass mailing based on a single publication template. That means you can create a letter in Publisher and have it addressed to every recipient in your address book, or any other list of contacts. You may have seen this feature in action if you've ever gotten a political mailer with your name on it instead of the generic Dear Voter or Dear Recipient. The first thing you need to do before you begin a mail merge publication is a recipient database. You may already have this if you keep all of your contacts in Outlook or some other email client. You can also create your own in a database program like Excel. Mail merge may seem like a complicated process to set up, but Publisher provides a wizard to help us do so as painlessly as possible. Let's launch the wizard and we'll walk you through the steps. To find the Mail Merge button, go to the Mailings tab. Mail Merge is on the far left edge of the ribbon. Click the downward arrow to see the menu. Select Step by Step Mail Merge Wizard. This opens a pane to the right of our publication. At the top of this pane, Publisher gives us a quick overview of how Mail Merge works. It tells you that the first step is to create or acquire a recipient list. The second step is to design your publication with Mail Merge fields, and the third is to create a merged publication. We're going to walk you through each of these steps. We'll start with creating or choosing a recipient list. The second section of step 1 of the Mail Merge wizard asks us to create a recipient list. It gives us 3 options to choose from. We can use an existing list. These are usually created in some kind of database program like Excel and stored on your computer. We can use the names and addresses in an Outlook contacts folder. Or we can create a new list. Let's select Type a New List. Now click on Next down the bottom. Once we click the Next Create or Connect to a Recipient List link, we will then see the New Address List dialog box. We're going to fill in the data fields for recipients just the same way as we created a product list earlier in this course. Remember, click the New Entry button to add a recipient. When you're finished, click on OK. Choose a location on your computer where you will save the list. In the file name field, enter a name for this list and then click on the Save button. Now the Mail Merge Recipients window will be shown, and it should look familiar from when we created a product list earlier in the course. Review your list and make sure you're connecting to the correct data source and click OK. Take a look at the Mail Merge panel again. The fields listed in this pane, such as title, first name, last name, and so on, are essentially placeholders. What you're going to do is click those fields to place them in your publication where you want the corresponding recipient information to appear. This is the recipient information that you just entered. For example, if we were writing an informal letter in your publication, you might want to drag the first name after the word Dear in the publication. Let's do that now. Now, you don't always have to type the word Dear into your publication. You can also easily configure and add commonly used functions such as address blocks and greeting lines. Let's take a look at that process. Click Greeting Line in the More Items section of the Mail Merge wizard. You'll then see this dialog box. Here you can choose a greeting line format, and select the greeting line for invalid recipient names. Invalid recipient names might be those contacts for which a first name or last name wasn't included in the list. You can also click through your contacts to preview them. In the example here, we're looking at a preview for contact number 1. You can use the Match Fields button to choose the correct field of your recipient database to show. Click OK when finished. This is our greeting line that was inserted. When you're done creating your publication, click on Next, Create Merge Publications at the bottom right here. This is the last step of the Mail Merge wizard. Publisher has essentially created a new publication for each of the recipients in your contact list. If you had 7 contacts, Publisher created 7 publications. If you had 27, it created 27 publications. The great thing though is that Publisher doesn't have to save all of those publications, taking up valuable disk space. Instead, there really is only one publication with all of the data fields inserted into it. Here, we can choose to print the publications, preview them before printing, merge them into a new publication, and more. To preview the publications to be printed, and perhaps double check that all of our recipients' information was correctly inserted into our publication, click on the Print Preview button. After you've done this a few times and are familiar with the steps and procedures, you can skip the Mail Merge wizard and use the buttons in the ribbon. They work identically to what we saw in the wizard, just without an explanation for each. Email Merge works identically to Mail Merge, except when you're finished, instead of printing options, you're given email options. Publisher doesn't have a label button like Microsoft Word that automates the process. Instead, you have to create the labels just as you'd create any publication. You do, however, have a lot of templates to choose from that work well with Mail Merge. To create a new publication based on the label template, or to create your own, go to File and select New. Click Label to the right of the suggested searches. If it's not there, you can type in labels into the search box. Then press Enter. Once the page loads, you can choose from a variety of label templates, or you can choose your own. The page size of most labels can be found, including the kind made by Avery, FormTech, and 3M or Post-it. Be sure to select the size that matches your labels. If you don't, the label will not print correctly. Once the label is open, you can use the Mail Merge functions we mentioned earlier to create your labels. When creating a publication in Publisher, you can only use fonts that are installed on your computer. Further complicating issues is the fact that if you open a publication that uses a font that isn't installed on your computer, a different font will be substituted. This can seriously impact the aesthetic design of your publication. To prevent this issue, Publisher gives you the opportunity to embed the fonts used in a publication directly into the publication file. This means that no matter what computer you open the publication on, those fonts will be available. There are a few caveats to this. The first is that you can only embed TrueType fonts. The second is that you can only embed fonts for which this is allowed by its licensing agreement. To include embedded fonts into your publication, go to the File tab and select Info on the left. Click on Manage Embedded Fonts. This opens a new window that contains a list of all the fonts used in the current publication. In the example here, there's only one font listed. Check the Embed TrueType fonts when saving the publication to embed these fonts. You can also choose whether or not to embed common system fonts and whether you want to include subset fonts, such as italics or bold. Now look at the License Restrictions column. This tells us whether or not the fonts can be embedded into our publication. For the fonts that you don't want to embed in the publication, you can click on its name, then click Don't Embed in the bottom right corner. Click OK when you're finished. To view and edit your business information that will be included and associated with your publication, go to the File tab and then click on Info. Keep in mind, this isn't a recipient's information. This is the publication creator's information. Your information, in other words. Click the Edit Business Information button. You'll then see this dialog box. To edit the information, simply click into any field and begin typing. You can even add a logo. Clicking the Add Logo button allows you to navigate to an image file on your computer. Click Save when you're finished.